Giving makes us feel happy. You know, in a 2008 study by Harvard Business, they noted that giving money to someone else lifted participants' happiness more than spending it on themselves. Giving is good for our health, is another thing that was found. In a 1999 study by the University of California, found that elderly people who volunteered for 2 or more organizations were 44% less likely to die in a 5-year period. Giving promotes cooperation and social connection. And when you give, you're more likely to get back, which, again, you don't give with the expectation of giving back. But, sociologists Brent Simpson and Rob Willer, they discovered that generosity will likely be rewarded by others down the line, sometimes by the person you give to and sometimes by others. Another great byproduct of giving is giving produces gratitude. Now, I mentioned not to have the expectation of gratitude. However, Barbara Fredrickson, in her book Positivity, shows that when you express gratitude in words or actions, you not only boost your own positivity, but other people's as well. Doris Day said the best things to do with the best things in life is to give them away. Maybe that's why she had such a sunny personality. The fact of the matter is, there is the gift of giving itself. Okay, 2,000 years ago we started out with gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Today we have the joy of giving, the disciplines of giving, and just the good of giving. The most important thing to give is to give of yourself. I've always found that the greatest gifts I've given anybody are the ones that took a bit of time, took a bit of intentionality, bit of thoughtfulness, something that took sometimes a little bit out of me. Whether, like I say, a dance routine for my clients or something like that. When I told my kids stories that I made up, sometimes I'd been traveling and I'd get in late at night and the kids were all waiting for stories, and I had 6 of them, and so I'd have to tell different stories. I'd take them in groups of 2, AJ and Anna first, and then Alex and Adam, and then the twins. And when I read them stories, they appreciated it, but when I made up stories, and it was interesting, we had a barbecue at the house here recently, and the kids they had their loved ones and boyfriends and spouses and everybody's around, and they all got into telling dad's stories. And it was interesting that, of course, they all love to take the mickey out of their dad at this stage of the game, but they were all making up the stories, and then as they got older they saw where some of the source codes of those stories came from. But it was interesting, they never were talking about stories I read to them. It was all the stories that I made up. CNN Business reported earlier this year that Americans have collective $21 billion in unused gift cards. Now, I don't want to bum anybody out who's bought someone a gift card for the holidays, but the fact of the matter is, a gift card is a gift of convenience. I don't really know what to get you. I don't really know you well enough, or I didn't have enough time. And it's okay. And sometimes our relationships like that, by the way, and that's just fine. But it's the meaningful stuff that really counts. And when our kids were growing up, we homeschooled our kids, and there was lots of different resources we used. But one of them was a radio program called Focus on the Family, which, 80 million people used to listen to a week. And they had a kids program inside that called Adventures in Odyssey. And I just loved this. It was for the kids, but I used to sit in the edge of my seat. It was really well told and narrated. And they told a story, and it was the story of Madge and Guy. So it was kind of tongue-in-cheek to the Magi, right? The 3 wise men were called the Magi. And this is the story of Madge and Guy. And it was set in the 1920s. And Madge and Guy, during the Great Depression, and they're living in New York, and they don't really have much money and much going on. Madge has this gorgeous long hair, and she's a beautiful woman. And her husband, Guy, his father died when he was a kid, and the only thing he left him was his watch. And you remember those old pocket watches that used to be on a chain? So he had the pocket watch, but he didn't have a chain. And so the story is they really want to do something for one another, but they don't have any money. So they both go off one day, and they come back, and it's Christmas Eve, and they exchange gifts. And Guy basically takes out this box, and he gives it to his wife, and Madge opens it up, and it's the most beautiful set of ebony hairbrushes for her beautiful hair. So these are these gorgeous handcrafted hairbrushes. And she's like, the most beautiful things I ever saw. And she goes, where did you get the money for this? Well, he sold his watch to buy the brushes for her. Now she's sitting there and she's all crying and thankful for the gift, and she's wearing a headscarf. And she gives her gift to Guy. And his gift, he opens it up, and it's this beautiful gold, 24 karat gold chain for the watch that he had his whole life. And as she then removes her scarf, and she's cut her hair, and she sold her hair to buy him the chain. And we used to sit around and tell this story to the kids and listen to Adventures to Odyssey. And I always remembered it. I mean, this is years ago I heard this. Well, imagine Guy. She gave up her hair to buy him a watch chain, and he gave up his watch to buy her brushes for her hair. And that, it's not always the size of the gift that matters, but the size of the heart that gives it, Thanks for watching. If you want more tips on how to think, feel, and do better, check out these videos too. Oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave us a like if you enjoyed the content.